Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And let me fix these screens for a moment. Welcome, everybody. It's just me and Kristen tonight. Becky and Bill are in Chicago still. First of all, I just want to say, whoa. Saturday was amazing. Holy smokes. Thank you to all of you. Rebuild, the crew over there at Rebuild, thank you all for being there. Thanks for coming and unpacking, loading up, unloading, helping. The Penningtons, I mean, holy smokes, thank you guys. Guy and his truck and trailer loading up the night before, getting it all to the day after. Oh my gosh. Sherry and her camera, and all of you that led the registration table, and Jennifer and the gear table, and oh my gosh, there I go again, naming names, and then I'll forget people. But I tell you, forgive me. Just all of you. I should never do that because I know I forget people, but I'm telling you, it was amazing. And even with the rain, it's crazy. So we had the final numbers where we had 400 on the dot registrations. So registrations still came in the night before and the morning of while it's raining. Registrations still came in. So we had 400 registrations, virtual people all across the globe. I mean, we had Angela in West Virginia, we had my family in Virginia, we had Canada, we had Hawaii, we had Alaska, Oregon, California, Arizona. I mean, just amazing. So thank you all. The rain didn't stop. I mean, for those of you that the rain stopped, I know that happened for some people, but it was just such a success. So thank you, everybody. We had 14 corporate sponsors. We exceeded our goal. Our goal was raising $15,000. Final numbers still, it takes a little time, all the final bills, but I think after expenses, I think we're about $27,000. So we almost doubled our goal. So yeah. And this event, we put this together in 6 weeks. We waited till March 20th to even say go, because the last 2 years we've been on pause for events because of COVID, and we weren't sure. So to pull this event off in 6 weeks, 6 weeks ago when I was asking for solid people, the kids still, or the crew still, gives me a hard time about that. Well, I never have to clarify that word because y'all are solid, and I just so appreciate it. We're just absolutely amazed. So thank you. Our next year's date, save the date, it's already on the calendar, May 13th. So it's the same Mother's Day weekend, Saturday the 13th for 2023. So mark your calendar. So thank you. If I didn't say it enough, thank you. Kristen, what do you got?
Gosh, I just second all of that. Our volunteers, the mob, you guys just did whatever we asked, but then stepped in and saw things that needed to be done and just did it. And I just want to really thank everyone, every volunteer that we had. We really appreciate you all. The whole thing couldn't have come together without all of you guys working before, like when the mob got together on Wednesday and did shirts, and then Saturday and the volunteers all day there. We just really appreciate you all. I really think the best part for me was the reconnection that we were able to do, the meeting of people that we'd never met before, and the coming back of people that we hadn't seen for years. And I just think that was the best part of the whole day for me. It was just great. So yeah.
Can you tell Kristen's been sick? She worked so hard, she got herself sick.
Yeah. It's all good. That was so worth it. It was so worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great. Just thank you everyone for everything you did. And names, I'm trying to slowly thank everybody individually. And I just want to, if I forget you, I would just thank you. You know what you did, and we really appreciate it.
Yes. And Renee and her yoga was so awesome, looking over there in the field and having people stretching over there, even though it was sprinkly at that time, looking over there and seeing that, it was so beautiful. Speaking of Renee and her yoga, tomorrow morning, Mom's Group. So for those of you who can join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m., Mom's Group is just a 1 hour thing where us moms just get on Zoom, or women, all ladies are invited. We just talk for an hour, get to know each other, talk about the topic from the night before, and get to know each other more. And then Renee closes us out for the last 15 minutes or so and just kind of does some stretching and yoga from our chair. And that's really nice. It's amazing how refreshing that is. So join us tomorrow morning. If you need the link, you can reach out to me or Kristen and join us.
Look at these cool bottles. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. We have new Battlefield Addiction water bottles. They'll be in the gear store. I'll probably have the gear store up next week, early next week. So go ahead and grab them. They're so nice. I'm loving it.
Awesome. And what she means by the gear store up means it's going to be online. So we sold a lot of gear on Saturday at the event, and if you missed out, no worries. It's going to be online. You're going to be able to pre-order some items, and then we'll be placing that. We'll keep you posted on when we'll be placing that order, but we have to kind of wait till we get enough orders in, and then we do a big bulk order. So this is your opportunity to get that cool water bottle or some gear. So be watching for that. And I think that's it for announcements. So let's go back over. We'll get us off of Spotlight and go back over to the crew. Boy, I'm jealous. I can feel the energy there in the crew. I can feel it from here. Spotlight for everybody. There we go. Oh, thank you, Nico. Save the dates is our auction, our annual auction dinner. We are resuming this year. Saturday, October 22nd. So just save the date. The details will start coming out probably in July. And so just put that date on your calendar so you can join us. 10, 22, 22. I love those numbers. Thank you, Nico. And so let's move it over to the crew here. Let's get a little view. Let's just go to Kyle. Sorry, I was going to give a view of the room, but I'll wait till after Kyle. Sorry about that, Kyle. I just so jealous. I saw the garage door open, and it just felt so nice just to see that. Okay, Kyle. So for those of you who are new tonight, Kyle's a manager over at Rebuild Recovery, and he brings us a little comedy to start out with. So take it away, Kyle.
Okay. So David Hassel. Travis Bailey, everybody. So David Hasselhoff has started referring to himself as just Hoff. Less hassle that way. Art keeps getting mad at me because I like to impersonate a flamingo. I had to put my foot down. When life gives you melons, you have dyslexia.
I get it.
It's because you have dyslexia, that's why.
Lemons. Got it.
Pretty sure my dad's getting dementia. Texted him saying, "Dad, you're supposed to call me." He messaged back saying, "Well, 10, 15 minutes max." But my name's Kyle. There's no max.
Pretty sure it's dementia too.
Yeah, dementia. Well, that's the way my grandma said it when she had it, so she knows. Today, somebody told me that my clothes looked gay. I said, yes, they came out of the closet this morning. I stayed the night at this haunted French bed and breakfast. I had to leave. That place gave me the crepes. One time, my ex-girlfriend came up to me and she said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." I said, "Hi, pregnant. That must make me dad." She said, "Nope." True story. I still love him, though. 10 years ago, I finally asked my childhood sweetheart, the love of my life, the most beautiful woman in the world, to marry me. All three said no. best for last. I've been messing around with this Tinder dating app. I was finally able to arrange a threesome last night. 2 no-shows, but I still had a good time.
That was the best one for last. Oh, thank you, Kyle. Very good. Very good. It's feeling good over there, Art. I can just feel it through here.
Mhm.
It's feeling
Good
good.
night.
Yeah.
Fire pit set up. Are we ready?
We're ready.
How's it sound?
Sound is good.
I think I was 7 years old when I first found out something was up. I may have told this before, but I was at my grandma's funeral, and there was this like there's a lot of pressure. I was supposed to feel a certain way. And I remember being at my grandma's funeral, and I remember the people crying, and I would see people crying, and my mom was crying. And then I remember not feeling like I wanted to cry. And I remember then sitting there as a kid, and there was space, maybe for the first time, between me and me. And I'm sitting there looking at myself, and I'm wondering like, oh shit, I need to generate some tears here. I need to kind of perform, otherwise I'm a bad person. So I need to kind of, maybe start. And I did. And I really, at that moment, like started pushing out the tears and crying. And you kind of get a sense for the first time. And at 7 years old, you get a sense for the first time that maybe something's going on here. And maybe it's not all as real as whatever. But, you kind of fit in to have to live how everybody wants you to live. So, or you're bad. So there it was. And I can remember at 7, like going, this is wrong. I'm not really living truthfully. I felt that, but kind of went away, and I forgot about that after 7. I can't really remember another time after 7. Then it became, and and I want to stop for a second and remind everyone. This is really important to remind everyone. For me now, especially after I've been entangling myself from other people's stories and other people's stuff, and really seeing that what this is about isn't self-help, and maybe it helps you, but it's definitely not designed to be self-help. And these talks are philosophical talks, and they're philosophical talks to just get you to kind of think, not really do anything about it. Maybe it will, maybe it'll make you think, and maybe it'll make you do something, but not designed that way. And especially not designed that I'm sitting up here saying, I live a certain way and you should live like me and then you'll be happy. I never want anything like that. So I want to make it clear that going forward with these talks, it's a very hard format to have these talks, but then not have some sense that I'm somewhere and you're not, you need to come where I am. So it's trying to have these conversations just to get you thinking. I want to be clear that very philosophical conversations about all this stuff. So then it became, after 7, I kind of forgot. No more space. I just became who I was, or who I portrayed. And so then you go about the business of fitting in at school and being known for things. And you don't know what you're doing as a kid. You don't know really what you're establishing, and you don't know what you're up to, but you're kind of establishing this identity. And like I've said to many of you, I think that addiction was my identity crisis. And moreover, now I don't even think addiction is an identity crisis. I think life is an identity crisis. I think we're always in the midst of an identity crisis. We're always in the midst of trying to fix our identity and trying to make it what we portray to the world a little better. So, and I'm going to get to suffering tonight, but I'm going to take a long way around. And the story that I'm telling you about me isn't to tell you a story about anything about me. It's just examples. And so my addiction personally became this crisis where I didn't know who I was, and I got known for something. So the more I partied, the more I got known for it. And that kind of drove me into partying more. And the more crazy shit I did, the more people seemed to appreciate that from me. And then I'd go on Monday and they would tell stories about all the crazy shit I did. So I get like inflated and get feeling kind of big about myself, about what I accomplished. And that was kind of an accomplishment, what I fucked up Friday night or what I did Friday night. And how I hurt myself and how I drank myself to oblivion and how many drugs I did and how I did more than other people. So that just went along until finally, and that identity crisis of trying to be known for alcoholism and drug addiction, by the way, it doesn't end well. It ends alone. And you end up alone, and you end up in closets hiding, and you end up looking out windows, and you go that far, and you end up by yourself. And so then what it ends up is there's again, I don't remember another time from the time that my identity crisis began to happen, and I turned to drugs and alcohol to feed who I was. Now I became 37 years old the next time I remember space. So at 37 now there was space again. It's kind of like when you live your life and you don't take a break until the cop lights come on and you get put in jail and you go, oh, and that kind of cycle goes. But here I was at 37, and all of a sudden now there was another chance for me to kind of look at myself. And I was sitting here alone again, 37 years old, no friends, nothing to do, no job, no career, nothing, what they call bottom or whatever it was. And that was bottom. I think bottom is a collapse where you look over at yourself and you say, oh, look at me. And look what I'm about, and I'm less than everyone else. And you take a look at yourself, and that can lead to a real kind of downer when you take an honest look at what you've become and what you've not accomplished and what you've let people see you as and all that kind of thing. So then again, space shows up, and here you are back looking at you and looking at the identity and looking at what you've kind of created or not created. And so like I said to all you guys, and we talked about this week, is that you're going to now rebuild an identity. And, you come to some conclusion in your life that really, there's only one game kind of in town. There's this narrative game. There's this story of me game. There's the identity of me fitting into my historical narrative. And you want to and so then you set out and we're all back like that little kid when I was 7. You begin to what am I going to now portray to the world? What do I want to be known for now? And so if we can get real honest that that's what we're all up to, really, that's the game, that everyone is kind of up to this identity game. Everyone can say, no, I just want peace. No, I just want, love. And no, I just want this. Yeah, well, those things are fine. But really what we're concerned with as human beings, if you take an honest look, is we're concerned with what people know us for and what we're about. And so here we are in this identity game again, and it's always a crisis because you're always concerned with it, and it's always right there. What do I look like? What does this car look like when I drive? What do these clothes look like when I drive, when I wear them? What does it look like when I say stupid things in front of people? What does it look like how does my yard look? How does my house look? How does my hair look? We're in this game, and what else is there? You can say there's there's the beach. Well, yeah, but what if you're on the beach and it seems great, but your identity's not good right now? What if somebody's mad at you or people are talking about you? Now you're on the beach. Well, the beach isn't that good because you're concerned with your identity, or you're at the ball game and maybe you did something stupid last night. You remember see that movie? What's that movie with Brad Cooper and Lady Gaga? Star is Born. Think how concerned with his identity was. He went up there, and what is the alternative to? What do you do now? You've peed yourself on the stage of the Grammys. There's no coming back. Your identity is just crushed. So now you must just go in a garage and hang yourself. And that's how desperate it is. There's no living after that. He couldn't because of the concern that would be on him. And that's how devastating our identity is. That's how much we're into it. And so you really, first of all, you got to start by, you got to say, well, I got to admit that first. I think I got to admit that this game is real. It's real because it's the only thing we have, but it's not real. So at 37, when I got sober, still the identity game was on. It was like, I'm back. I gotta buy a treatment center. I gotta change this narrative. I gotta show everybody what I'm known for. And I'm gonna hurry up, man. It's gotta be fast. I can't be 40 and not have nothing. I gotta have it now. So let me get this shit together. And I didn't buy a house because I thought about the luxury of living in a house. I bought a house because I want to tell people I own a house. Simple. There was no thought process of what taking care of a house is like, or how much money I'm going to give to the bank. $500,000 house. I'm going to give the bank 1.8 million. I didn't think about any of that kind of stuff. All I thought about was I'll be a homeowner, and I can tell the world I'm a homeowner, and then somehow that equals out all this shit that I did. And if I can say I own a treatment center, then that equals out all that. And if I can help people, then I'm a hero, and on and on and on. And so you see that the identity game was thick, but then what happened was Eckhart came along, and you read Power Now, or you start getting into actually books on mindfulness or whatever it is, and they're all stupid too, but the reality is that they wake you up to something. And what they do is, again, because remember there was space, but the space when I was 37 and I hit bottom, that was only there for a couple of days. That's only there for a little while because you got to get back to the game. You know you're shitty. You know that your identity's crushed, but now I got to get back to the game, man. I got to get proving myself to people. No, I got it all good. So now you strut around the meeting or do whatever you do and tell people how you got it going on. And that's the next step. You know, you don't miss a beat, but you're right back to the game. And then Eckhart came along and he said, like, be an observer of yourself. That was kind of cool. And then he said, and I was like, whoa, that was the first time I'd heard that in a while. I heard that I could watch myself. And so then again, space starts to develop and you start looking at your identity. Well, now the ball game changes a little bit because here you are kind of playing with this thing that you've been so desperate to do, but now you can kind of play with it because it's just you and you're playing with this thing. So the question is, is it real, or am I playing with my identity? Am I forming it the way I want to form it? Am I just kind of playing around here, or is it desperate? It's got to be good or I'm bad. And that's this identification with identity. So now I started learning these words like narrative and identification and suffering and clinging. And the Buddhist term for suffering, what the Buddhists say is suffering is from desire, wanting what is to be different. And then that's what Eckhart said. He said suffering is wanting what is to be different. And so now you start looking at, well, okay, here we go. You're in the identity game, but there is suffering. And now it's your identity not being what you want it to be, or maybe it is. So you're really, that leads me all the way back around until you get to the point where, so why do people suffer? And then let's look again closer at some of the questions, like, was I a kid? Do my actions lead to my identity, or does my identity lead to my actions? You got to look at that real close. See, that what that means is, do I pick an identity I want and then behave that way? Or do I behave that way and then an identity forms about me? And I think just philosophically, we got to look and see which the answer is, because and maybe it's not either, maybe it's some one way and some the other. And then when Eckhart said pain is resistance to what is, I was wondering, because that was so simplistic. He said, pain is resistance to what is. All you have to do is not resist the way it is, accept the way it is, and you'll never suffer again. Well, man, that seems easy. And it seems stupid that I would suffer one more day. It really does, because all I have to do is accept what happened. All I have to do is do that, and then I don't have to suffer. Well, that seems so easy. So then why is there still suffering? So that question came up. And then you have to look at other people saying that, the grief and the suffering from that kind of what happens to us, suffering, trauma, all that kind of stuff. And so is people not accepting it, or do they accept it? So if something happens to somebody 2 years ago, they lose a loved one, something happens, do they accept it? Is it that they're still suffering because they don't accept it? See, I think they do accept it. So now you have to look even closer, and you have to get to the point where you start looking at suffering as maybe there's benefits to suffering. As human beings, everything we do we want to pay off, everything we do. So now you start saying, you have to ask the question, if you truly don't want to suffer, you have to ask why. Why am I suffering? Now, let's look at some of the reasons that we could suffer. We could suffer from non-acceptance. Something is how it is, and we don't want it to be, and that causes some suffering. But I think we can get over that one. I think people can kind of decide, hey, I can accept how it is that way. And then they still suffer. So they accept how it is, but they still suffer. So I challenge Eckhart and go, I don't know, man. Maybe it isn't that way. Maybe, and now I go, well, maybe people, if they accept how it is, but they still want to suffer, what is the benefits? And this is just for people. This is not challenging anyone or telling anyone that they're doing this. Please. This is saying, maybe look for yourself at your life. What is the benefits of my suffering? What is it that I'm gaining? Now, what is coming into my story? What is my identity formed through suffering? So now maybe somebody starts forming, just like I suffered with alcoholism and drug addiction, and there was a tremendous benefit to it. It got me acclaim. It got me recognized. It got me talked about. It got me validated. So maybe people that suffer from trauma or loss, maybe that could be a case where they're like, Oh man, and they start living into that narrative rather than their actions creating that narrative, the narrative of loss. I lost, therefore this is how I must behave. I've been taught, just like that 7-year-old boy that was at the funeral, how do you behave at a funeral? Well, who made that shit up? Who made that shit up that I need to cry? Just like who made that shit up that if you lose the loved one, you need to cry? Who makes this up? See, somebody make it up. And it's not that our actions are leading to it. It's that narrative, that story that this happened to me is now I'm going to have to live that because it happened to me. And somebody else told me that I must live this way because that happened to me. You know, you never see anyone, when a 90-year-old mother dies, you know, the time duration of suffering is real small with a 90-year-old mother. You only get like, hey, come on. You only get like a couple weeks. She was 90. But why is that different than somebody that was 15? Why is that different than somebody who was 7? See, I would argue that the person who lost a 90-year-old mother got to live with that person for 90 years. They should be more devastated than the person that lost the other person, you see? And that's just philosophical. That's not an answer. And I'm not saying I do know the cause of suffering. And I'm not saying that it's there. I'm saying, think about it. I'm saying, if you're in this room and if you're suffering, one, are you suffering because you don't accept the way it is? Maybe that's true. Maybe you say, I just don't accept it. I'm pissed. Okay. But how long does that last? So now if you're still suffering, but you've accepted the way it is, why? What are we gaining? And as human beings, you need to know something about human beings. And something that I learned over the past 10 years of this work is that human beings do not behave in any way that they don't expect a payoff. Every way we behave, we expect a payoff. We expect to be validated in some way whenever we're behaving a certain way. And so our behavior adds up to something. So you see, I say, and I've said this before, I say maybe pain is self-chosen. Maybe that's what people want. And you know, there's another thing. I remember Angie lost her son. And she lost her son when she did. I was very hard on her and I wouldn't let her choose suffering. And in that time, she experienced something. What she experienced was, I must behave this way kind of because he's watching. He's watching me, therefore I can't enjoy my coffee. He's watching me, therefore I can't enjoy life. And how much suffering is that? What is the duration for a human being that lost a 5-year-old kid to suffer? What is the time that we must expect that person to suffer? Is it 1 year? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I spent a lot of time with a lot of people at a walk on Saturday. And I went with all the Beyond the Battle people that were there. I walked the walk with them. And I met people that have lost 10 years ago. I met people that have lost 1 year ago. I met people that have lost 3 years ago. I met all kinds of different variations of people that have lost in different times. And each one of them had a different kind of narrative about the way they should suffer. And so my question tonight, and what I'm really wanting people to look into in your life is, and that's not even including suffering, are we living into, are our actions creating who we are, or is who we are creating our actions? And is it that simple? If I don't want to be a drug addict, do I just stop calling myself a drug addict and then I don't do the actions of a drug addict? Or did I do the actions of a drug addict simply because people told me, just like, you know, they told me I needed to cry at a funeral. They also told me when I got sober that it wasn't easy. They also told me that I needed these certain set of actions. And if I didn't do those certain set of actions, I'd get loaded. They also told me that an addict has to be this way. And so all of a sudden, because I was an addict and they told me how I had to behave, you know what I did? I behaved that way. And I think extraordinary people, being extraordinary, being something that's not ordinary, means that we challenge the way that our narrative says we're supposed to be. We challenge the way that our narrative, if we lose, our narrative says we're supposed to, you know, you see the guys in football, grown men crying on the sidelines. Who taught them that? Do you think they really think they should sit over there and cry because they lost a playoff game? Really, is it that important? And so really looking into being extraordinary might be, hey, whatever this narrative says I should behave like, I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to not do that just because I will not live into a narrative that was created before I got here. I'm actually going to create the story of me through my actions. They can say what they want to say after. So it's a reversal. And it's seeing that most human beings, you're just told how to behave. How do you behave in a marriage? Everyone knows. How do you behave when you get divorced? Everyone knows. How do you behave in court? How do you behave at this place? How do you behave here? And we have to live into that every day because somebody else made it up. And I would say suffering is like that. Why do people suffer? Not because they choose to, not because they don't accept. They're told they have to. You have to. To be a good person, you must suffer because you lost this person. To be a good person, you must behave this way because that happened to you. And where you're like, oh shit, how long do I got to do this performance? Just like a kid. So I think that philosophically, just ask yourself, what narrative are you, it's simple that changing my habits, change my narrative, change my identity. What are the habits of an addicted drug addict? Well, you'll do what you say you are. And I challenge suffering. I don't believe it exists. I don't believe it exists other than, now there's grief. There's a gut punch. There's sadness. There's a deep missing of people. There's something that'll take your breath away. There's something that hurts. But that comes and goes. You see people attachment, and you see these attachments people have to things that happened in the past. Pretty crazy. We went through what we went through. You go through what you go through, and then that happens, and that happens, and that happens, and that happens. No day is different than the other. But when we have to look back and kind of grab on to things that are happened, and that starts validating us and giving us importance. Why do we use it? Why do we use our problems to make ourselves important? People do that. People have bigger problems than me. So if I can stop that, maybe I can stop the suffering. If I can stop living into a narrative, I can stop the suffering. How crazy would you be if you lost your wife and the next day you were smiling? But how many guys actually want to smile? 80-year-old guy at the funeral, acting sad, and inside he's like, hell yeah.
Look at Dave.
She left me the money. I've been pent up with this witch for 30 years. I'm going to the casino, a cruise, getting on Tinder. Well, we call that guy a bad guy. No, you need to mope around for about 1.5 years. And then your buddy will come over with like a casserole. And then they'll say, now it's time to get back out there again, Bob. Get back out there. I'm 85. Well, Bob, how much money do you have? Just buy one. So that's the question. How long do we need to suffer? Why? If you are suffering, what's the payoff? If you're depressed, why? Why? I think people should have to have an answer. I think for yourself personally, if you're depressed, you need to come up with an answer. And then you got to make sure. You got to make sure that it's not a show. And I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying I've been parts of a lot of shows, though. I've been told how I need to behave, and I put that show on without even missing a beat. So I don't know what suffering is. I don't know what pain is. I know it happens. I know I feel pain, but I don't know if it's non-acceptance. I don't know if it's resistance. I don't know if it's trauma. Or I don't know if it's validating me. I'm validated because I suffer. But you better know. You better find out why you're suffering. Unless you don't want to look because you want to keep suffering. See, right now, if you're suffering, then let's look. You say you're suffering. Let's look at it. Look at it honestly. I guarantee it'll go away, but you don't want it to go away. No, I want to suffer, and I don't want any solutions. Back off. So you bring it to the forefront. Come on, you're suffering. Let's go. You tell me why. Anyways, we can open it up. I will say one thing. Just when I got into this and they started looking at the Buddhist Four Noble Truths and what they meant by suffering and what they were talking about the suffering and every human suffers, I don't think so anymore. I don't suffer. That doesn't mean I don't experience pain. So I'll know, although I said that this wasn't going to be a format where I'm somewhere and I tell you to come here, I'll just tell you that I don't know if you want to suffer or not. I don't. I do not find suffering useful. There is zero use in it. So I don't do it anymore. And the reason I don't do it anymore is not because I don't experience pain. It's because somebody taught me to look and to see why I'm suffering. And then once I looked and seen why I'm suffering, for the most part, for me, what I found out was it was helpful to have people know I was suffering and be consoled. It felt good.
But at some point, it feels ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like finding yourself in a point where you want to feel bad for yourself feels ridiculous. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There's massive other reasons though too.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that each person, what I'm saying tonight is, just because I figured out why I suffer or you figured out why you suffer does not mean that a human being has figured out why they suffer. I'm not asking anyone to believe that they suffer for the reasons that I suffer or the reasons that I did what I did. What I'm asking is, if you are suffering, look and stop and say, I am suffering. I need to know why. And then be honest with it. I would like it to go away. I would like to be free. I would like to live my truth. I would like to go to the beach. I would like to be out of my dark room. I'd like to be happy. I would like to be up. I'd like to party again. That's what I want. So that's for each person to look. And the reason you suffer might not be the reason I suffer. And yes, I was a showman. So what that meant was I was having problems. Guess what? You guys are all going to have problems. If I'm having a bad day, then I'm going to sit here and make goddamn sure you have a bad day. And the way that you'll know I'm having a bad day is I'll sit like this. When I sit like that, what you need to do is you need to ask me what's wrong. And then you ask me what's wrong, and then I go, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to speak about it. Well, let's look. I mean, that's really what we're doing. Look at, did we take drugs to not suffer? Maybe. I know they did. Maybe boredom was suffering and drugs were like, hell yeah. So let's get that again. Why wouldn't you want that again? So I think really we can eliminate suffering because, one, I accept the way it is. That happened and that happened and that happened and that happened and it fucking happened. You can't fucking change it. If you realize you can't fucking change it, then what the fuck are you doing? You're suffering on purpose, or you're suffering without knowing you're suffering on purpose. So I can't fucking change it. There. Now what? Now what are my options? Live happy or sad? So let's go. All of us sitting here, I see even the drug addiction sadness. Oh, I'm only 30 days clean. I got to be depressed. I'm only 6 days clean. I got to mope around. This sucks. Why does it suck? Why? You're young, healthy, and almost as good looking as me. You see? You see? You can get anything done. But why does it suck? Because you did drugs for 7 years? Well, yeah, that sucks. No, it happened. So now what? Well, I need to apologize to my family because okay, we'll fucking do that. But you mope and don't do shit. But people expect you to mope. Hey, you've really made a mess of things. Mope around, please. They don't want to see their kid at the dancing. He's only been in treatment 7 days, Art. He's dancing? You know how much money that asshole owes me? You better quit fucking dancing. Shit. I need to see him moping and a very serious face on his. Does he have a I'm going to work face? Put that one on. So once you get that space and you realize, look at, there's a bottom. And there's a bottom. There's like, my life sucks. My life sucks. My life sucks. I'm doing it. My life sucks. I'm doing it. I'm creating it. Boom. And that should fucking move you over here. And then you should look. And once you take a look, you'll see why it sucks. You're doing it. And that gives you that space, the space from you and you. And when you get that space, you get to take a look. And then you get to ask deep questions like, why? Why am I suffering? Why am I doing this? What is the payoff? What am I going to get? Or what do I want? What do I want? Well, I want to be happy. We'll do that. It's easy. Now there's pain, loss. Man, that's that kind of shit. What you do there is oh, you lost. I used to talk to Ange about it all the time. I told her, she said, sometimes she would hurt so bad in her stomach with her son that she couldn't see him and that she missed him so bad and it would hit her and she would keel over and like grab her stomach because it would hurt so bad and hurt so deep that she lost her son. And I told her, man, I envy you. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I envy you. That's a human experience that I don't get, but you get to have that one. So enjoy it. And then why don't you just go turn on some music and be with your son? And she did. What else is there? How are you going to connect? So that's that kind of fun shit. Like, oh man, I miss my dad. Okay, what's his favorite song? Put that on. And then you do that in that time. Well, when do you do that? I don't know. After the day's over, when you want to be alone with him. So it's just a simple ask tonight. And there's a couple questions. And the first one is that I want you to think about is, are your actions creating the story about you, or is the story about you creating your actions? First. And second is, why would you suffer? Why would you want to? And if you don't want to, then let's be honest about it. What are you getting from it? Well, maybe you just can't figure it out. Well, I'm suffering and I can't figure it out. Well, good. There's a lot of people that can help you figure that out. You just got to not want us to suffer anymore. Okay.
All right, let's open it up. So good. So good. I see lots of nods. Okay, so if you have any comments, we would love to hear from everybody. You can just use the raise your hand feature on your device, or you can just unmute yourself if you can't figure that out. There's the little raise your hand that I just did. You can unmute yourself and get my attention. But any questions, any comments, anything. I do want to say Connie's out there. Hi, Connie. I'm glad you could join us. Connie joined us for the Run for Recovery, and we hadn't seen her in a while. And so I'm so glad you're on. Good to see you, Connie and Jim. If you want to say hi to everybody, you can introduce yourself. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if so, unmute yourself if you're okay with that. Hey, Angela, let's go to you. And then we can go to Connie next if she's willing. Let's see. Let's unmute Angela. Hey, Angela.
Hi.
Angela from West Virginia.
I just want to say that was excellent, Art. Excellent. That's it.
Yes, comment.
It really,
Yeah. Can we
Hey,
roll
that's
through
my-
everybody and do a quick one where they say that?
Oh, hey, look who's here.
Hi.
Hi.
we're closer than ever because of what Battlefield taught me.
Oh, I'm trying to
I think-
get a screen capture. Hold on. Let me screen. Yeah, here we go. Smile. There we go. I got a screen capture. Got to capture this moment. Oh, nice.
You guys helped me so
Thank
much.
you.
Nice. Angela, I loved your pictures so much. That was so fun.
Oh, we had
So
a lot.
fun to see
We had
you find such a cool spot with the water and the no bullshit
some-
hugs t-shirt. And
Yeah, that's right in my neighborhood. That park's right in my neighborhood.
that's
We
awesome.
walk. Me and my dog used to walk it all the time. My kids grew up in that park, so
Up on
it
that
was awesome.
rock. Oh, it was just
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
awesome. Right on. Maybe
Yeah.
next year you can be here with us, maybe, but we love having you virtually.
Yeah.
Thank you all. You've done so much for my mother. I really appreciate it.
Oh, nice to see you. Really nice to
This
see
is a
you.
great woman. Great.
These are great people. Right there, right there. Kristen's hiding somewhere. Becky's somewhere.
I've heard so much about you, especially you, Art.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Angie. There's Kristen.
And that's a mama. That's a mama right there who loves her boy. That is for sure.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop. No.
Yes,
Stop it some more. Stop it some more. Awesome. Thanks, Angela. Oh, oops. Very nice. That was beautiful. All right. Who's next?
I think it's important that a group of people or people together, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, what we're all doing with each other and what everyone's doing everywhere. And the simple, notable fact that you've got this identity, this what I'm known for, my skills, my attributes, the way I am, this thing that we spend our lifetime kind of cultivating and creating and wanting this certain way that we want people to see us, and the actual like gasp when we find out maybe somebody doesn't see us the way we think we're supposed to be seen, and the work that goes into building an identity and really saying, am I creating my identity, or am I just letting life do it? Am I just kind of being a victim to life and letting life create my identity with all the things that happened to me? So then when I tell my story at the end of my life, I kind of just tell what happened to me in kind of a devastating, tragic manner. Or am I actually cultivating and creating who I want to be and what I want to be known for? Am I creating that? And it's not what happens to us. It's how we're handling it. That's what you want to be known for. You don't want to be known for what happened to you. You want to be known for how you handled it, because everything happens to all of us. And you're not going to get known for what happened to you. I'm not going to get known because my mother died. Everybody's mother dies. It's how I handled the death of my mother. Did you go get loaded when your mom died and say it was because of her death that you're going to go use drugs? Or did you stand up on the podium and order the flowers and arrange the funeral and speak and give the eulogy? Which do you want to know? That's what you get to create, your identity. Or you can let life create it, and she can die, and then you can get loaded, and you can say, I had to get loaded because that's the way an addict has to behave. And somebody before me spoke up at a meeting and said, I got loaded because my mother died. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You got loaded because someone else died? That is highly offensive. Now they've let you down again and died, so you have to go. Fuck. You're a victim again. And so again, this question, just look right now today, did I do the work of creating my identity, or did life do the work of creating my identity? Did I come home today and complain about life and say, listen, I want to be validated for my complaints. I want to tell a really cool story about who I am, but what I'm going to tell you is not who I am. I'm going to tell you what the checker at the bank is. And that's somehow going to validate me. If I can tell you what devastating thing happened to me and how I'm a victim of the bank teller and how she took too long and how she did this, and or the waiter at the restaurant or whatever, and I can tell that story, somehow I'm validated as better. People are up to that. That's what people are doing. People do not tell a story about how they drive cars. No one comes home and goes, do you know the way I drove a car home today? They don't. They don't sit here and go, I was amazing. You should have seen me. Almost got in a wreck. Boom. Missed it. I was amazing on the road today. They don't tell that story. They tell you the story of how they're a victim to other people's driving. They say, you should have seen how everyone drove today. There's so many crazy drivers out there. I almost got hit and I had to do this. And just tell us you're good.
You should have seen how many people that cut off.
Yes, I got cut off by this guy and I changed. Shut up. Create who you are. We have that. That's one thing I know is possible. That we can do that. We can lose and win at the same time. We can lose and win over and over and over. I always, when I'm losing, I'm winning. Why? Because of the way I behave when I'm losing. Because I've been there though too. There's times I lose. I lose and then behave like shit when I lose. And it's not the losing that is ever on my mind. It's the way I behave. And I literally get to a point where I go, next time I lose, I'm going to behave better. So that question has to be there. Are my problems, are my losses validating me? Do I need more loss to get more validation? Seems crazy too. You ever see someone that's losing a lot of people in their life? Seems like they just continue to lose a lot of people in their life. It's weird. Or you see a husband that loses his wife, a completely healthy husband and wife, and one of them gets sick, and then the next 2 months later, the husband's dead. One of them dies, and the other one dies shortly after. Are they living into that story, or is that happening to them? What is going on? I don't know. So again, it's not, the only thing I can tell you is that I have an opinion, and I don't give those very often, but I have an opinion that this suffering is something that we do on purpose. Not to say there's not a lot of pain.
I think tonight's popcorn night.
We got the Stampalius.
Dave and Stan.
Hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to say, Art, that I think it was a photo finish.
No, I
During the
crushed you,
walk.
man. You weren't even, I crushed you.
Pam, when I saw you raise your hand, I was actually, when you were done, I was going to say, can I just say my favorite moment of the race was when Pam bypassed Art to run to the finish and beat him. It was great.
Well, and the problem was I probably would have gone a little faster, but I had to go to the bathroom.
You were cheating.
Yeah.
I know that. You had that cane or whatever it was pushing me back.
Well, and I had a lot of clothing on because I prepared myself for the weather.
Yeah.
I know. And the wind was blowing me backwards, and then your cane was trying to trip me. It was the whole thing was all, yeah.
I told her that you were being a gentleman.
Yes.
Although he did try to headbutt
Listen to
me.
that. Dave's got your back, Art. Listen to that. He's defending you.
There were no pictures.
Yeah.
No one has.
That's
any
right.
pictures.
Sherry was she went all the way down. She got the most beautiful pictures. I'm so glad you did that, Sherry, by the way. After seeing those pictures, I just, whoa, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, she did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
It brought
Did you
tears to
get-
my eyes just looking through her photos. I mean, you could just feel it. And they captured the real moment and people holding hands, and you can just,
Yeah.
it's just in action. It's just absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Sherry, for capturing those incredible moments.
She had one of our headbutting you.
Nope. She wasn't around at that
She
point.
wasn't there at that point, darn it.
If she tries to race me again, I'll drop her.
There's no proof. There's no proof, Pam. There's no proof, Pam, but I saw it. I saw it.
Well, getting back to what you said, Art, I just wanted to make a comment about that, about being in control and growing up with whatever issues any of us have. And I learned early on that I had to talk my way through whatever it was that was going on. And I'd talk to all the people I knew, and at times I don't think they wanted to hear it, but I was able to work through whatever it was that was going on and come to a conclusion that was satisfactory to myself so that I could move on.
Yeah.
And I know you do that. You talk and you talk and you talk. And I think sometimes that's the best medicine. You don't really need to go to a therapist. You can talk to everybody around you, and not everybody can do that. They can't, people, people are different, but some can. They can come to a conclusion after they've talked everything over and decide what it is, what's best for them.
Well, and what it takes is, it does take that space. So there has to be a place where there's you and you're talking to yourself, and
Right.
you're saying, I need to self-soothe here. It's not bearable in here. And because it's not bearable in here, I'm not going to just power through. I'm going to say it's not bearable in here. And then I'm going to talk to, soothe myself, come to a conclusion, and do that with other people and let them know it's not bearable in here and I need some resolution. And I need to come to that resolution through opening up to the people. Just like I talked to you guys about last night, is like, who are you doing this for? By the way, we're building an identity. That's my first. I think everyone is up to that. Secondly, for who? Meaning, who in your life do you want there with you when you succeed? Who do you want to be happy for you? And a lot of people are building identities, forgetting that they're doing it simply just for themselves. And they're not doing it for anyone else. And the thing is, you're building an identity. Yes, it's yours, but it's not for you. It's for other people. Your identity is for others. It's for other people to be known by you, other people to know you, other people to count on you, other people to want to surround you, other people to want to help you. So you have to give your identity up. And you can see Angie's identity of sucking it up when her son died, being stoic, actually not, accepting that it happened, getting back to work after 2 weeks, helping others. It's not for her. It's for the 400 people that were there for her. That's who it's for. So it's not for her, because guess what? If you're alone and it's just you and your loved one here, and you lose your loved one and it's just you left on the planet, guess what? There's nobody to do it for. So who cares? What you're going to do is you're just going to miss them forever. That's all you would do. So when we lose, it's not for us to give it up, it's for everyone else. It's to say, my identity is for you. I'm going to serve you with it. I'm going to be upbeat. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to keep going for the people around us that are happy for us to keep going, that are proud of us. Everything we do, it's not for us.
So that's how you get into those leader positions, right? Is because when you hold
You're smart.
people look up to you. You know what I mean? People see whether it be that you have a good work ethic, or you
Bounce
Or
back.
You're always positive, or you're always, yeah, exactly, bouncing back. People look up to that, you know what I mean? And people.
Well, it works
at
both
least
ways too.
I do. You
It
know
works
what I mean?
both ways though too. It's when your community, the people that you do, the people that you want to look good for, the people that you want to be proud of you, it's those people working the other way and saying, hey, you got to get up, you got to come with us now. Both ways, you know, the leadership person doing it and the people around the person doing it. It's not a leader. Now, if there's not good leadership, maybe that person doesn't have any leaders they want to do it for. You see? So it does take others, and it's not, there's another suffering. You know, there's sometimes our energy just suffers. Sometimes our energy is just bad and we don't know why it's bad. It just suffers.
Mhm.
And that's when you're around other people and they light up your energy. That's tonight when you come here, maybe, and you see the fire going and the music playing, and it's not just think of the difference between that and somebody's dark bedroom with the TV on and the shades closed at 6 p.m. at night. How's that what's the difference? You know, there's a difference.
All right, we got Sherry Pennington.
Hello.
Hey.
So you were talking about the action and identity, and it seems like it's kind of a chicken egg thing, right? So action creates the identity creates the action. Is the action actually the reaction, or is it because you were saying that there's the action and identity, it seems like there's reaction in there somewhere, and then you were like, okay, do that, right? So is that like a kind of a circular thing?
Do I call myself a CEO, identify as a CEO, therefore then I do the actions to become a CEO? Or do I do these particular actions and then it leads to me being a CEO? And I would say, you know, and that's anything. Was I really an alcoholic, or did I tell myself I was an alcoholic, therefore I must drink every day? Because somebody told me I was. Well, what do alcoholics do? Well, they drink every day. Well, shit. I better get to the store. I mean, really, I don't know anymore. I mean, seriously. I was like, I'm a drug addict. Oh, shit, what do I need to do today? Shit. I mean, what if a drug addict took a day off? I mean, seriously, you know, I mean, what if you're a drug addict and you're just like, nah, I'm not a drug addict. I'm just going to take the day off. Could you? You know, I mean, really, this is tricky. And I'm telling you that I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe that our actions really, I think we decide who we are and then we become it.
Kind of playing into that too. My dad taught me when I was younger, the most important thing in life is habits.
Well,
Forming habits.
Well, that's that book. That's the guy, James Clear. He just wrote that book, Atomic Habits. This is exactly what he talks about. He talks about you want to change your habits, you got to change your identity first.
Okay.
That's what he talks about. It's exactly what he says. He's saying if you want to change your habits, you're going to have to change who you are first. What are the habits of a successful person? Well, if I call myself, well, what if I'm not a successful person? Then I try to change my habits. Well, I got to be a loser. So I'm going to continue to do that, you know? So
I like Carrie. Oh, I was just going to read Carrie's comments. Great. He's done it again, reminding everyone that everyone contributes to the universe. And when we get out of our own way, we will make the universe, the community, a better place.
Yeah, I think in a good community, it's mandatory. Whatever your community is, it's mandatory and a requirement that people don't suffer. And we've learned this around here, that when somebody's wanting to suffer here, there is no talking them out of it. And they're going to make damn sure everyone else suffers. The mood is going to come down. You know, I'm going to open my door at like 4 p.m. and go, can you all turn that music down, please, and suffer? You're all getting a little too, you know.
Did you guys forget I'm suffering?
Yes. So it is, and usually what it does is just this energy is so strong. If the community's energy is strong enough, it'll just repel the person to go away, which is sad. But It's just what has to happen for a while until the person gets to some kind of bottom where they go, no, it's me. Like, I don't want that anymore. I want to come out of my room and I want to see your faces and I want to party again. You know, you just don't see any 8-year-olds suffering. I mean, why? Well, they're playing. You know, and they're not playing and then thinking of what happened yesterday. They're just playing. Like, you don't see like an 8-year-old throw down his car and go, man, I really said something stupid yesterday. You know, I can't even play today. What happened? Well, I got an F last week. What? I did have bad hair days though when I was a kid. I grew up in the 80s. We had in the 80s when I was like 12, it was 1986. And back then what you did was, this was pre-Top Gun, I think. I don't remember what, maybe I got my years wrong, but pre-Top Gun, what you wanted was rock band flow, like, you know, Poison, that kind of thing. So you went with the big hair and the blow dryer and you parted it in the middle. And then, you know, as soon as Top Gun came out, we all went with flat tops. We all went right to the barber, dude. Everyone went from, but I used to have to comb my hair back. And then sometimes I couldn't get it to go. And then I'd yell at my mom. And then my mom would come in and it was just pre-mousse. You know, so there's only hairspray, but my mom would come in and they do that. You know, my grandma used to do that too. And my mom, and dude, you ever smell bad breath when it's quick? Dude, it's bad. So there was, cigarettes and coffee. It mats down your calic or whatever you got. Yeah. Well, I'd get frustrated as a kid like that, and I'd throw the brush down and tell my mother I wasn't going to school. You know, if you don't have the proper outfit laid out, you know, my parachute pants weren't alive, dude. You didn't even know. Parachute pants. That's great. You know nothing about parachute pants. Not the MC Hammer, not the hammers. These were tighter, leathery, with zippers that had, but the zipper was irrelevant. It just had a zipper, but it didn't like open up to a pocket. It was just a zipper. They were called, parachute pants.
No.
Yes. That's what they call.
No, parachute pants, the MC Hammer.
No, they're not. You're wrong. Look it up. 6th grade. This was ninth.
Wait, like 6th grade.
Yeah, my 6th grade. 6th grade, 1987. 1986. 1986. Travis is looking it up. Well, we go. Let's get another. He's going to be proven wrong again. So far, Travis is 0-941 against me. Yeah.
MC Hammer will pop up.
No, they won't. And they're called hammer pants. No, MC Hammer, too legit to quit, 1990.
Yes.
Come on, boys. Come on, 1990, too legit to quit.
Can't touch this.
Can't touch this was, there we go.
They do have the zipper.
There you go, parachute pants, right down there. Pano nylon parachute pants.
Still rep though.
Yeah.
It says classic parachute pants.
Yeah, hit the classics.
Oh my God.
All right, first of all, now, let's. I mean, I guess we've resolved suffering for everyone on here, so nobody is, which I love. It's called Solution Group, and I've solved that. But you know, there's some honesty to this, and you know, there's depression, and there's, you know, all kinds of different forms. So it's okay if someone needs some help or a question.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes left, so plenty of time, please. Please step up. If you're going through it, this is a moment. Anybody that needs a coaching moment, you got it. All right, Doug and Carrie, let's see. Can we, I can't put you on spotlight because your camera's not on, but I can, are you unmuted?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I just want to say that if you had a chance to be in that garage last Wednesday, that was the epitome of not suffering and celebrating and just having a blast doing good, fun work. Quit staring at Kyle.
And Carrie, it's been the mission, and it is the mission, and I make fun of. I don't make fun, but we say certain things about Alcoholics Anonymous or about Al-Anon or about the addict's mother or whatever these boards are that really, I would say, lend to the identity of what we were talking about, and have people living into a certain way of behavior. And it's almost across the board. The people that came over to us said, most of the mothers that came over to us from Al-Anon or whatever had said the same thing. I don't want to just commiserate. I want answers. And, that's kind of the difference that we went through this for. And it used to bother me a lot, like being anti-Al-Anon or anti-Alcoholics Anonymous or anti-Narcotics Anonymous or anything. But it doesn't bother me to be that anymore, because I really, really look at those identities that are created. And I see the danger in that. I see the danger in living into an identity or living into a narrative. And I watch myself very carefully to give somebody else a narrative and say, I'm going to tell you how you're going to end up. I've had to learn not to do that. It's almost, you have to do it at some point, but it's dangerous telling somebody else how they're going to end up, because maybe they don't know that. And then maybe they end up that way because of the way you said it. And especially with a group of young people that are trying not to do drugs and alcohol, to tell you that it's difficult. So if I now tell you that it's all a difficult thing to quit drugs and alcohol, well, then will you live that it's difficult? That's crazy then. Maybe it's not difficult. Maybe they just told us it was. Maybe we just bought in. Could be. But I don't buy it. So almost any way that they tell me that I have to be because of that, I'm going the other way.
So it's okay to have multiple identities then, correct?
With multiple people everywhere. I mean, it's not just one. It's what do I want to be known for? And that's an array of things. I want to be known because I show up when you need me. I want to be known because I'm honest. I want to be known because I keep my word. I want to be known because I helped you. I want to be known because I worked hard. I want to be known because I started a great business. I want to be known because I was good for money. I want to be known because I kept my hair nice. I worked on my teeth and brushed them. Whatever it is. But that's what we're doing. When we're looking at our teeth in the mirror and brushing them, that's because there's people here. Our life is a performance for those people. And it's okay. And anyone that says, my life isn't about other people, why not? Why isn't it? What is wrong with your life being for other people? What is wrong with your life being about impressing others? I don't care who I impress. Why not? I care deeply who I impress. I want each one of you to be impressed with me. I want each one of you to say, man, Art, he impresses me. He keeps his word. He does what he says. He's nice. His shoes are cool. Whatever it is, I want people to be impressed. So my life is about impressing other people. And yeah, it's nice when everybody's impressed with you. When everybody's not impressed with you and you go to the beach, it sucks. But when everybody's impressed with you and everybody's happy with you and you go to the beach, you can enjoy it. But truly, if we could just imagine, hey, my identity is here for you. I want you to be known by me and me to be known by you. And I like your identity and you like mine. And I like what you're known for and I like what I'm known for. So let's mix it up. And then if people talk about us, we'll tell them, hey, we like each other. And now we have some friends. And each one of us can say, hey, you need to get up and you can't suffer because we got to go jet skiing. And you make my energy better, and you're massively funner when you're smiling and you're on a jet ski. And when you're not smiling and you're not on a jet ski, get away from me. You know? So come on, we got to go ride jet skis. And that means you got to get up. And you got to look in the mirror and you got to perform for me today. Don't drag me into your shit. When we're out there at the lake, don't sit there and mope. You don't get to do that shit. I won't do it to you. You don't do it to me. Now, if you're going to mope and you feel like moping, stop and ask yourself why. What does moping get me? And you ask any kid, stop any kid, any one of your kids, any one of these kids, stop a kid and ask him why he's moping. He won't know. He won't even know what he's up to. But you know what he's up to. He wants attention. He wants validation for his problems. He wants to be talked to. He wants to be important. And he wants to pull the attention of the entire room towards him through moping. Okay. Well, guess what? Adults are up to that shit too. It's a strategy we learn as a kid. It works. And our parents go, what's wrong? Are you moping? Come on, let's go. And we get what we want. Payoff. And we'll do it as long as people will put up with it. My parents always knew. I lied, did something crazy, screwed up. I would just go sit in the living room like this for a little while. Then mom would go, what's wrong? What do you need to tell us? And then you just jump off that cliff. My report card's all burnt up in the fire. It's all F's. You're like, bring it, Dad. Give me the lecture. And then he loses his shit. You're like, woo, he went too far. I'm getting ice cream tonight. You know? Mom holds him back. Dad, I got your ass. You know you just went too far. Son said, you little piece of shit. I got him. Yeah. Mom, you know you call me a piece of shit. I'm never going to recover. Now I'm going to be homeless. Therapy, Mom. Dad called me a piece of shit. More than once? Yes. Yes. You know, it's all a show. For me, I'm telling you, when there was enough space to see it, and you realize your life's a show for others, you realize that you're performing for people, then you will see what each performance is trying to get you. And once you see it, that you're performing, you may be able to live. But if you never see that you're performing, you will continue to perform. And every one of your performances expects a payoff. If I come to this group and today I'm going to be quiet and isolated, what are you trying to do? Pull the attention that way. Everything's a performance. So when you realize that, you see that you're performing for others. Well, now you got the chance of creating a different show. You can say, I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to be known for the suffering person. I want to be known for the life of the party. I want to be known for the resiliency I am. I want to be known to come back. I want to be known as the guy that can take life on and accept whatever the fuck it gets me. I want to be known as strong. I want to be known as empowered. I want to be known as whatever you want to be known as. But I'm not going to be that. You can punch me in the face all you want. You ain't fucking stopping me. I'm coming fucking back. And it ain't going to take a week to think about it. Boom, let's go. What are you going to do? Kill my dad? Done. I buried him. I was standing right there when he died. What are you gonna do? Give my mom cancer? Think I'm gonna get loaded? No. It was right there when she died too, holding her hand. Being killed. Angie's son, we were both right there. We watched him. They took him out of the apartment. We were there. What are you gonna do? It's life. Punch me and I'll be back tomorrow smiling. Will not suffer. Will I experience pain? Yeah, pain's great, man. You cry, it feels good. Pain is pain. Pain feels good. Sadness feels good. If you don't think sadness feels good, then why the hell are you watching that movie? You like it. You went there. You hope to cry. Well, that's life. Now, why not have it in life? You lose a loved one and you sit and cry, feel that shit. Feels good. You're alive. Live deep. See, you get out of the business, but it's still there. Now I got to go worry about my identity. I got to go see if everything I said here is okay and everyone likes me. I'll be in my room. You see? But it's true. About 9:45, I'll go, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I pissed off so-and-so. Oh, God. What do they think of me now? You can't stop. One time when I was a kid in gym, I was 7th grade and we had to do the physical fitness test and I was doing sit-ups and the little girl was holding my legs and I farted. I farted right there loudly. Little girl holding my legs. It's the sit-up competition. That news spread like wildfire through the whole school. I was crushed. Poor guy. Poor guy. That was before drugs and alcohol either. I had to face it too. There I was. Forget the little girl that had to take it in the face. That's her problem. You know? Oh my God.
Those gyms always echo too.
Yeah, yes. Oh, now Renee, thanks, Renee. Thanks for reminding me my name rhymes with fart. Thank you, Renee. Thank you for the originality. The originality. You know, I've never heard that before. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, again, listen, I hope that's more what it's become, and it has become that for me. And maybe there was a time where I did these talks and they were meant for some type of self-help or some type of, let me get this through to you, because if you do what I'm saying, your life's going to be better. And I'm not trying to make it out like that. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying just every week, what I'm here for is simply, hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully you laugh, but it's more so to say, listen, think about it. Because each one of you today, guess what? No matter what you're doing, you're creating an identity. And no matter what you're doing, everyone is watching and they do care. And for various reasons, they care. I'm not suggesting that those reasons are always inherently good, but people are watching. And so what you're doing is the work of an identity, and it's the only game in town. And that's the game that we play, and it was set up that way. And my only suggestion is take a look at two things. Just look and see. Am I creating my identity, or am I living into one that's already been created for me? Am I behaving exactly like this identity that's been put out there and everybody else? It's pretty suspicious that every drug addict does the same shit. It's pretty suspicious. Just watch it. But it might be that we're living into the label or the identity of a drug addict. And so look and see, are my actions creating this identity? When my actions create an identity, it looks different. It means that I show up on time, therefore that creates an identity. I keep my word, that creates an identity. I handle life, that creates an identity. I stand strong when shit goes wrong and accept it, that creates an identity. Money, all the other thing, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what am I known for? I'm talking about what people are really going to say. They're not going to say you had money. They're not going to say you were good with money. They're going to say other things. And so looking to see if that's what I'm doing. And then anyone at any day, any time, if you are suffering, stop and look and be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Is this a show? Am I doing it because I want to be validated as the biggest sufferer? Is it real? Am I experiencing that pain of suffering right now? Or am I really performing? And then just this simple understanding that that's what we're doing here. We're all performing. You look in the mirror, you buy a car. When you're at the car lot, you're wondering what they will say about the car. And then there's a lot of different days. You're wondering what your boss will say about the car. You're wondering what your husband would say about the car. You're wondering what your friends would say about the car, your kids would say. And now you're going through and kind of, well, what will they say? What will they say? And then you're seeing if it's practical that you buy it, because you're going to get a reaction from 4 different groups of people when you buy that car. Same thing with your shoes. Well, my husband likes when I wear these shoes, but my kids are going to think I'm on and on and on. And so our life is a performance, and our identity is our character, and our narrative is our historical story. And we got to look at all that. And if you take a look at that, you'll start living different. I don't know if you'll be able to not live different if you look closely at that. But if you just forget, you'll just be years away, and finally you hit bottom and you'll realize that you're suffering. And you'll hit some type of bottom and break down again. Anyways, I hope it made you think. And thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Good night. Good night.